dudes. I'm filming this on my phone because my camera thing does not stick to my windshield. I'm leaving the doctor because when am I not at the doctor? To get more ultrasounds on both my uterus and well, they're both in my uterus, but one's in my vagina and one's over my abdomen. So much fun. Anyway, not what this is about. I actually don't even know what this is about. I thought this was gonna be a Patreon video, but I kind of want this to be a YouTube video. I've just really been going through it this year, and I guess since the end of last year. Yeah, since like November of last year. And it sucks, you know, because all of 2021 up until then and most of 2020 was like amazing. Like best time of my life, honestly. But you know, there's always ups and downs. This down is just like lasting a lot longer than I would like, and also it just seems to keep going downhill despite me really turning into a very like spiritual, I mean, I guess I've always been spiritual, but like really just spending so much more time on connecting with myself and whatever else. You don't care. Yeah, we're going through it. My health mainly, and then that has affected my mental health. And then with my relationship, which I was telling my sister yesterday, like, oh, we just had our 6-month anniversary. She was like, girl, you're supposed to still be in the honeymoon phase. You're not supposed to be like, because I had told her we talked about therapy and how he like didn't want to do it for ever and doesn't think it would be helpful and all, blah blah blah. Which you would think I wouldn't be dating someone who is like anti-therapy, right? Like given who I am and my life story and what I stand for and what I care about, you know, it's a little weird, but hey, I don't love to pick people that are good for me, so why would I have done that this time? I'm not supposed to be like dragging anyone. I guess that's a good thing of having my relationship private because no one knows what I'm talking about. So it's like I could just be talking about fucking that guy on the street over there. This wasn't supposed to be like a life update, which it's not. I'm gonna stop doing that now while I'm ahead, while it's only been 5 minutes instead of like 30. What I really want to say is that I'm 98.6% sure that I am, the word retire sounds funny when you're 27, done doing adult content. And not only that, not only am I done making it, which, let's be real, the way that I've done my content, aka on Onlyfans, never mainstream, has always been 90% just me. Okay, if you're gonna park, fucking park. 90% just me, and then if I'm in a relationship or really like someone and like have been seeing them, and then there's been a couple of times where it was like a friend or like someone that, well, there was one time where it was someone that I had never had sex with before, but I knew him very well and thought he was really hot. Anyway, point is, like, the only time that I've filmed sexual interactions with other people is when it's real. Like, it's not a staged thing. Like, I've never been like, come over and we'll collab, you know? I have a boyfriend, it's like, we will sometimes film, but more times than not, the person I'm with is like, do you want to film this? And I'm like, no. Because I just, it doesn't feel right for me to like put on a show. I've never put on a show for OnlyFans, ever. It's always been real. So that's how I've done things. So it's not like I'm out here like fucking people and doing the whole porn thing, which is literally 1000% fine. I've just never gone that route because, you know, I was lucky in that I had somewhat of a platform with my Instagram and my Instagram. RIP, just kidding, I'm trying to fucking revive it still. I don't know that I ever would have started filming boy-girl stuff if it weren't for the person I was with when I started my OnlyFans. As we know, he was in jail when I started it. The way I've done mine is different than most people that do adult content. I'm friends with a lot of girls and they'll always be doing collabs, even just with other girls and stuff. Like, I am so connected with myself and my emotions and my body and my intuition. I am too connected to myself, let me tell you. So like, if I don't want to do something, if I don't feel good about doing something, I just simply can't, and I will not. And anytime that I have kind of gone against that, was always like, I knew I wasn't supposed to do that. So it's not to say that I don't want to keep doing it, because I do, because like I just said, I only do what I'm comfortable with. That's why I love OnlyFans, and that's why I started it. You know, it was to reclaim my power after really bad things happening and not having a choice in the matter. It's always been empowering, except for the last few months it hasn't been. And it has nothing to do with the people on there. It has nothing to do with my opinions and thoughts and feelings toward it changing. It has to do with my relationship. Wine and eggs. That sounds fucking disgusting. Hang on, it's kind of bumpy. Let me wait till I stop. I'm gonna try and just tell things how they are and not like skew anything. I mean, I'll tell you how I feel, obviously, but this is my opinion, and I believe this should be the popular opinion. Can't with the shakiness. Hang on. Okay, is this good lighting? No. Is this video titled the most well-lit video you've ever watched? No, it's not. So shut up. Anyway, where was I? Oh, right. So when you get in a relationship with someone, you know, especially when you decide to be in a relationship after like months of acting like it, but not labeling it, not really like doing the whole thing. But then you have the conversation about it, and ultimately you both decide that you want to try out a relationship, right? At that point, you are accepting everything that that person is and saying, yes, I want this. I know everything about you. Obviously, you learn more about people as you spend time with them, but the main things, the important things, you know all of that and you accept it. And yeah, things can come up when you're in a relationship, and they do come up. If someone gets into a relationship with me and then all of a sudden I'm like, I actually would like to be a lion tamer, and they're like, no, because I have a phobia of lions, and also I don't want you to die. And I'm like, too bad, I want to do it. And then like they want to break up with me, like that's valid because I wasn't doing that before, you know? But if I already was a lion tamer and they knew that, and we were having that conversation, that was the weirdest occupation I could have picked. And you have that conversation about if you're gonna be in a relationship, and you say, is it going to be a problem that I'm a lion tamer? And they say, no, literally not at all. Not at all. Then that's great, and they're accepting of it. They've thought about it and realized that you as a person, you are worth so much more than their fear of lions. Whatever, okay, you get what I'm saying. My analogies are sometimes more detrimental at explaining things, but I'm torn, and I've been feeling very conflicted and also having a hard time distinguishing like my intuition from anxiety, which is hard. In hindsight, it's usually like, bitch, hello. I guess I should just say it first before I start explaining. Before we started dating, you know, I could have just gone into this and not done that analogy, whatever. Before we started dating, you know, he knew what I did the whole time we were talking and hanging out and hooking up and all of that. No problem with it. Even if he did have a problem with it, how can he say anything about it? He's not my partner, you know? We get in a relationship, a serious relationship. And before getting into a relationship, before me saying, yeah, I would like you to be my boyfriend. Will you be my boyfriend? Circle yes or no. Because he, you know, brought it up. I was like, is it going to be a problem that I do OnlyFans? At all. And it was a resounding no. He's like, you were doing this when I met you. I don't have a problem with it. I could never like ask someone to stop doing what they already did before I was with them, even if I did have a problem with it. We had this conversation. And then actually less than a month later, we sort of broke up. I mean, we did break up. It literally lasted less than 24 hours, but we had been fighting a lot over like Halloween weekend, and it was like fights over like him being jealous essentially. It wasn't as like insane as like with previous people that I've been with, where like we'll be walking down the street and someone will like check me out and they will get so mad at me, they will like scream at me because someone else checked me out. It wasn't like that insane, but it also wasn't me like going up to someone and flirting with them at the club. It was like in between those two, okay? So, and they were bad fights. They were, you know, I don't even know if I can call them fights, because basically what happens is he gets mad and I get sad and shut down. So anyway, after that weekend, he was like, I think we should just go back to being friends because I get jealous in relationships and I'll start fights. And I was really devastated. I was like, I can't be your friend, I'm sorry, like, we just can't talk anymore if that's the case, because I cannot go back to just being your friend. I'm not gonna be able to do that, whatever. The next day, we end up talking and decide, like, we're gonna keep trying this, because it's only been a couple weeks. Like, there is such a thing as, like, talking through things and working through problems without fighting. I'm saying this. And, you know, it's been a constant struggle with pretty much most relationships that I've been in, to, like, try to teach the person how to, number one, respond to my feelings when I say I feel like this, instead of, like, defending themselves or refuting it, or, like, saying that I'm wrong for feeling a certain way. And then also getting them to open up about their feelings, because what a lot of guys will do is not say things, and then it bottles up, and then they'll explode over something, you know? So anyway, we get back together. And in the time that we were broken up, super short amount of time, but a lot happened. A mutual friend of ours, essentially our friend, told me, like, there has to be a different reason, and it's probably because of Onlyfans. And I'm like, there has to be another reason. I know, it doesn't make any sense. And so he ended up asking him, like, is it because of Onlyfans? Is it because she does Onlyfans? And he straight up said it had nothing to do with that, nothing at all. Like, it was just because we've been fighting so much and having problems ever since we started dating. The amount of times I asked if like, are you sure it's not about OnlyFans? The amount of times I actually offered, and actually not even just offered, like, I said, like, yeah, I do want to stop OnlyFans eventually. I need to phase out of it because it's my main income right now. And he would actually be the one to be like, why not just keep doing it? Like, while you're making this much money from it, and while it's still a thing, like, why would you not take advantage of that? And I'm like, well, because I just feel like I want to be doing something different. Like, it is true that I have, like, a completely different direction that I want to go in terms of, like, work and my life, because there's so much overlap with that. I had talked about that a lot and figuring out how I was gonna transition out of doing it. Then in December, my Instagram got taken down, and then in February, my TikTok got taken down, which had almost 1 million followers, which made it so much harder for me to get an audience and get as many subscribers a day as I was getting before. I'm doing worse on OnlyFans than I ever have, and it's not because I'm putting out worse content or less content, it's simply because I have less eyes. So that was all taken, and I felt like, fuck, like, yes, I wanted to stop doing it. However, number one, my content is all over the internet, no matter how many services I hire to, like, remove things. Number two, it wasn't just gonna be a cut and dry, like, delete all of my social media, but that's kind of what happened. And yeah, I still post on OnlyFans, but like I said, like, it's getting new eyes. That has been difficult, especially, like, going through all the health problems I've been going through. Like, I could not put my all into it like I normally would. So I noticed early into the relationship that he wasn't, like, posting me or, like, reposting my stories. And it wouldn't have been, like, a thing had it not been for the fact that before we started dating, he always did. He would always post me, he would always repost my things. And so every YouTube video he's been in, he's been blurred out. There's some people that think it's someone that used to be in my vlogs. It's not that person. I don't think he was ever even in a video. No, the first time he was in one of my YouTube videos, I think, was Vegas, and he was blurred. So anyway, clearing that up. And so we talked about it then, like, I thought OnlyFans wasn't an issue for you. And he's like, well, I just don't really want people that I know to go to your page and then see you naked. And I'm like, well, first of all, it's not how it works. They'd have to go to my profile, they'd have to go to my OnlyFans, they'd have to pay me money. Yeah, we had, like, a bit of an argument over that, because it's like, well, you said this wasn't an issue. And he's like, it's not an issue. I just, like, now that I'm, like, in love with you, it makes me feel uncomfortable if people that I know look at you naked. You know, I can understand that. I can understand how getting feelings for someone would make certain things bother you that didn't used to bother you as much. Although I've learned that, like, it did bother him even at the very beginning before he was in love. I can understand that, yeah. But at the same time, like, that is not fair to me, because he accepted me. He said he accepted me doing OnlyFans, and there was no problems with it. There was not going to be any problems with it. He accepted it and wasn't ashamed of it. And then it was like, wait, you're, like, you're hiding me. Like, you're not reposting things, you're not posting me. And then it's like, will you not post that of me? Or, like, will you not and show me in any of your videos, like, just for future reference? And I'm like, that's weird, because we used to always be publicly friends, you know? So I've been feeling a lot of things, but a lot of uncertainty with things. And I blatantly last night asked him, well, okay, there's a lot of moving parts here that I haven't even addressed, like the fact that I've never met his parents, even though I go to their house like every day. I've done a lot of really nice things for us. You know, I took him to Hawaii recently, taken him on multiple trips, done a lot of cute things. We've done scavenger hunts. This is the part where it's like, it's not that my ego wants him to like post it on social media, you know? It's not, because I honestly didn't really start feeling this until a couple months ago, but it's the blatant hiding of me and like posting the views in Hawaii of the house that I paid for, and like ignoring me and going and filming the pool. And you know, the only thing I asked for on that trip was like, please don't go on TikTok, because it bothers me when people are just constantly on TikTok. And that's the only thing I asked for. Like, I planned this whole trip for us, and that's all I want, and he did. And you know, posting stories that kind of make it look like it's his trip, and like I didn't do anything nice, and like nothing I ever do gets acknowledged publicly. And that's where it's hard for me to explain, because it's not like I want every single thing to be posted, and I don't want it to be like a spectacle, and I don't want it to be like a weird like couple vlog situation, because it's not. But I share my life. Hopefully I get my Instagram back. Through Instagram, through YouTube, through TikTok, through Twitter, through Snapchat. My Snapchat has a lot of viewers. I share my life, and it has felt very weird to hide like the biggest part of my life and to be hidden for the reason of being ashamed. Because it's one thing if someone doesn't have social media, or they have it but they don't really post on it, or they don't really post like what they're doing. But he does, and he does. It's just minus me. And that's where it's not like, I want you to post me. It's like, but I'm here and I made this happen, whatever it is, and do I even matter? Am I even important? Like, am I valued whatsoever? I'm kind of getting off track here, but after a conversation we had last night about the OnlyFans thing, because I got really clear, and I was like, if you're not going to accept this, I actually mean accept it. I don't just mean say you accept it, but then hide me from everyone and be ashamed and uncomfortable with it, like you said you weren't. But I mean truly accepting it and embodying that, and not being ashamed or insecure or whatever it is. Having an ego, he said, makes him jealous. I said it seems like it's possessive, not jealous. If that can't happen, then we probably need to not be together. Because the thing is, yes, I do want to stop doing OnlyFans eventually, and adult work eventually, but it's always going to be there. No matter how many services I hire to get things removed from the internet, it'll always be there. And I'm very okay with that, and I have accepted that, and I accepted that before I even did what I do, you know? My family accepts that. So the thing is, even if I were to stop and do my due diligence in getting things removed from the internet, it would still always be an issue, and something that would cause him to hide me and to have me continue to need to hide him. That's not, I can't do that forever, and I'm not at a place in life where not even just in life, just with him, where I want it to be a temporary thing. When I'm in, I'm all in, and I do everything I can to make sure that relationship works until it doesn't. It might sound stupid. I suppose I'm just using the Instagram thing as an example, but it's just an easy way to kind of illustrate the whole dynamic. But he basically said, you know, I'm not comfortable with it right now, and in a few years, you know, I'll probably get used to it. And I was like, no. No, I wouldn't have dated you if I knew this. So I'm kind of battling with myself. With anything in life, I consider my core values, and if it's aligned with them or not. And one of my core values is connection. Connection, just to say, like, my relationships, my friendships, and even like I'd lump like my family into that. Just people that I love, I guess. But I guess the term is just connection. Not connections. That sounds like LinkedIn. Connection. And so when I think about this situation, it seems like the thing to do is to stop doing OnlyFans and to work on getting everything removed. And like I said, no, it's never going to be fully gone, but maybe it would be easier for him. And maybe then I could feel like I matter and I'm important and I'm not ashamed. I'm not something to be ashamed of. And I can meet his parents and I can, you know, fucking vlog on YouTube. And I don't know, it's like I'm torn between that because it does align with my value of putting connection first, putting a relationship first. And also, no, like, how many times in my life have I just put me first? Not very many. Day to day, not very many, and in the grand scheme of things, not very many. It's always other people first, and I know that about myself, and I know that it's a problem, to the extent at which I am. I'm an Enneagram 2, okay? I'm an ENFP, okay? I don't like the word empath. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but I relate with a lot of the characteristics of an empath. And also, maybe that even means codependent, because maybe I do that to feel valued. I've explored that a little bit. It doesn't fully seem to fit, because what seems to fit more than codependency is I feel so fulfilled when I see someone happy, and it doesn't usually have to do with my value. It's only when I'm being hidden that I'm like, wait, I as a person don't have value. Not like the things that I'm doing give me value. So anyway, all that to say, I'm torn between these things and what's important, and I'm, like I said earlier, I'm like 98.6% sure that I'm going to just stop and try to get everything removed. And yeah, that's gonna really impact me because there goes my income. But if I value connection the most and making a relationship work the most, wouldn't that make sense? Except for the fact that I wouldn't have been in this relationship if I knew that this would have happened. You know? I guess it seems like it would be an anxiety-driven solution to delete everything and hope that that fixes the problem. But that's the thing, I always find myself doing things to make the situation okay and never the other person sacrificing anything. I guess I just need to think about it, but with the way I feel, I'm just scared of making the wrong choice. I don't know, I think I just need to be done for now. I don't know. I guess let me know what you think. Maybe I could be totally wrong here. I've talked to a couple people close to me about it, and they do agree that, like, everything I said at the beginning about, like, accepting someone and, you know, all of that. But I also love a lot, and I love people a lot, and maybe it's a sacrifice that I should make.